Hello and welcome to The Nation. You're with me, Gerard, Ratnam. On this episode, we'll be talking about the challenges of the music industry in Malaysia post-COVID. Now, joining me in the studio is Jeremy Chong. He's the A&R Director for First Love Records. Also, a man we've loved so much and we learned the blues from. Ito is in the studio to talk about the problems with regards to the music industry in Malaysia. Abang Ito, thank you for joining us. Jeremy, thank you for taking time off to be with us. Now, I guess this talk show comes together on the back of Fahmi Fazil having a town hall with musicians the other day. And, what we want to talk about now is the problems. I don't know we can cover all. I don't think we can cover all, but the few big problems we have in Malaysia. So, Jeremy, you're in here because you've been with the recording industry music industry for quite a long time. Both, Abang Ito, you've been a musician and also, you've been performing for so many years. So, I think you guys see the gaps. Yeah? And let's start with post-COVID, after COVID, or what did COVID do to musicians? How bad were the lives of musicians during COVID? Maybe start with Jeremy.
I'd like to start with a kudos that we get through COVID eventually. But I think the first two phases of COVID especially, everything stopped for the music and the entertainment industry. I would say a total stop. So we know a lot of events company, production, musician, artists that have their income halted at that point of time. But I think the good thing is that with the advancement of technology today, we also get to see a lot of creative process in between those COVID period.
Right, people had to find new ways to make to bring their music out and to also make a living.
Yeah. So we see an interesting phase in the changing time, especially from physical to digital. In the last 10-15 years, people are trying to, industry is trying to move from physical, the sales of physical CD and cassette moving into digital, but we haven't seen that much of acceleration, the catapult effect. But during the COVID, it was kind of strained at first, but eventually we see a lot of output coming out in terms of digital.
Right. Abang Ito?
Yeah, I think everybody, not only the musician, everybody, was affected, with the COVID and all thing. And I think I still remember KKMM did something, to help artists at the time. I remember doing the song using the telephone,
Right.
Yeah, that is something that
they tried to do something.
They're trying to do something. And of course, it's really, really bad. And when it comes to concert, there's no concert. When it comes to we cannot go out of the house,
Right.
Terrible,
yeah. But having said that too, I think even before COVID, we've always had problems. You always hear problems with regards to royalties, with regards to artists being paid. There's always been this problem in Malaysia. Why do you think we've always not been able to settle these problems? Look at the late Tan Sri P. Ramlee's music. The 50-year period for his royalty is now died out, and we still don't know what to do with it. So, what do you think were the problems before we even got into COVID? You've been with the music industry from the 90s, and we've seen it all, right? What do you think are some of the main problems with regards to artists being paid, royalties? People booking artists. You can start anywhere you want to.
First off, regarding the royalty for Tan Sri P. Ramlee, for his family, I think this is a phase that we need to go through because the policy was set at before this is that royalty will be paid up to 50 years. So before this, of course, we don't have such problem because we haven't come to the maturity of the time. But now we are. So it's a new challenges that need to be debated. Maybe at the level of policymakers of how they could extend the 50 years of royalty and all that. Before this, we haven't seen all those things. But I think it's a good challenge that it needs to be addressed right now because it's timely that this matter come at this period and it need to be debated. And probably the policy need to change. So we put that aside and let the policymaker and the industry make that decision. But when it comes to payment, for example, for shows and appearance. What I personally experienced during my time in the industry is that this thing doesn't come only from the industry. Of course, the industry want to be paid, but the thing is that the policy of individual policy of events company, production company, or even TV station. Sometimes, you know, it is very bad that at this point of time, right, when we see that talent has been created so vastly in terms of the output, but people are still paying token. Can you come to my show and I only have token of 500 ringgit, I only have token of 300 ringgit.
Abang Ito is smiling listening to that because I'm sure he said it before. We're doing a big show, but we got no budget.
This is a very... Yeah, it's the thing that the talents are facing.
You were saying just now, see, what you said was policy. And when we were having coffee just now, Abang Ito, you were mentioning something about ACTA also. Yeah. Where, you know, about the music industry doesn't have a governing policy as such.
Yeah. That's the main thing, I think, that bothers us all, you see. You see, I look at this way, in a like film, they have finance, They have the house, they finance. I think it was incorporated around 1983, and I don't know why music was not, you know,
body
turned into a pembadanan.
Yeah.
And once, because it's not that what you call, you still can go on, but without a pembadanan, that means the artist got no house, you know. There's no place to
tak ada rumah.
Tak ada rumah, Jadi, and thank you. When YB
Fahmi.
No. Before Fahmi.
Anwar Musa.
Before Gobin. It was 2018 when he set up a protem, you know, to get this pembadanan. And I think that the thing is already on now.
Right.
PIMM. There is a pembadanan industry music Malaysia.
Okay.
It's already on. And I hope the minister, Fahmi, YB Fahmi, can push the thing so that we have the whole thing settled, you know, with the board of directors and whatever.
Yeah, those tokens have to be put aside, and then apart from token, you know, the payment terms. I mean, the talent musician want to be paid right after the event at least. Right, but some of the payment terms are 30 days, 60 days still. So even, I mean, I don't mean to hurt anyone, but sometimes at the big TV station is still happening like this.
Right, so it's still happening with big TV stations. I hope we're not one of them, But I mean, it's a big problem in Malaysia that we're still, you know, talking about payment and you know, how much to pay. And so there is no sense of professionalism in the music industry, if you see. So how do you think we can move forward with this? So when you say, okay, when I come and tell you I need you to come do an event for me, and I say I've got no budget, then it is up to you to decline and say no, you know. And I think through the industry this should happen. All musicians say no, okay, kita akan ambil duit from you know, starting from this amount. There's no one undercuts each other. Do you think something like that can happen? Because, you know, when the industry is so bad, people will say, okay lah, never mind, I undercut you, you undercut me, and then it becomes cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. Then you'll be singing for an hour show getting 200 ringgit.
I think in terms of talent as well, I mean, we're talking about artists in specific, right? Artists also, they have, I don't want to say great lah, I mean, or maybe where they are I mean, the artists at a point of time. So maybe the more popular one, for example, will be able to demand, but the less popular one or the new upcoming artists, right? I mean, we don't forget, you know, for the time they have put in to become an artist, the time to practice musician and all that, is basically their whole lifetime. And then their output at a point of time during the performance, we know is for that 15, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, but you have to be treated fairly.
Right. Now, if the government were to do something, and the government is planning to do something, what do you want to see happen very soon?
My first is for the government to acknowledge, to what you call, make pembadanan itself, you know. And with this, I think then the whole scenario will be different. Like just now we were talking about Piramli, the royalties and all. You see, you know, we pay 50 years, but Singapore I think is 70 years, you know, and Indonesia is 70 years, America is 75 years. Why? I think maybe you can add like that, at least make it like Singapore.
So for that to change, is it the policy must change?
The policy, yeah, of course, it's through policy. Yeah. That's why the PIM, I call it PIM because Perbadanan Industri Music must be settled by the earliest. If the minister can do that.
Right. Jeremy, coming back to you.
I do agree with that.
Yeah, you agree with that?
Yeah.
Now, coming back to you, I know the support, you've dealt with artists most of your career, and if they need help at this point, what kind of help should be given to artists? You know, say like blanket, what do you call it, medical coverage, something. Now, also the next question is, how do we ascertain who's in this registrar of artists that will get these benefits?
Yeah, I think that obviously, you know, when we talk about musicians of talent, right, a lot of them, I would say majority of them do not have a fixed income. Like those executives that working in corporates, but they are good talent to the company, because I think from the generation of income itself to the country, I think entertainment or content play a big part in providing the income. Yeah, when it comes to that, I think we still need a Perbadanan, something like a body to actually craft this policy for our musicians, for our talent. Yeah. So something like a medical card will be good in case anything were to happen to them.
So musicians who come under the registrar, under the Perbadanan, will receive a sort of medical card, and that would be a good way forward. Now, the other thing we're talking about is royalties, and you know, you told me some very interesting stories of how musicians today, who've been doing it for 30-40 years, should have been millionaires, but somehow during the years of piracy in Malaysia, it didn't happen. Can you tell us that story?
Well, music piracy, I was there, you know. I know, man, my big time, blues gang big time is all in the 80s, you know. And there's a time where we lose a lot. I don't know how much, but it's a lot, you know. And if only there's no piracy, which I think, you know, there are no piracy in Europe. There's no music piracy in America. There's no, you know, but here it was too much, you know, and it really affects the income of most of the.
So he was telling an interesting story about how it is in Thailand. There's piracy in Thailand, but local musicians are not pirated in Thailand.
Yes. I see. Maybe the movement is very strong.
Yeah, the king. I was told that even the king of Thailand is getting involved with that.
Right. So, I mean, you dealing with musicians, so do you still have that problem with piracy now?
In digital is less at this point of time. Yeah. And actually, digital platform opens up a lot more avenue right now. Right. Like not only from music royalty, but they do get income when they do review of products, and a lot of channel are actually opening up for the talent these days.
So for people who are coming into the music industry and they want to promote their kids or they want to promote themselves as musicians, what would be your advice to them as to what they can do now in this digital age? What is important?
I think one thing that we couldn't run away, I mean, talent couldn't run away, especially to the new ones. The up and coming one is their own digital profile. Right. On social media is a must-have.
So you must have a digital profile.
You must have at this point of time.
Right. Yeah. So like for you, Abang Ito, you know, with the music you've done throughout the years, and you know, for us to move into the digital era is hard. But do you have, like, you know, your songs on social media, on Instagram, TikTok, or whatever?
Yeah. You see all these things, because our music blues gang is with Warner Music. Yeah. Most the publishers are Warner Music, and I got a few more live records. So I think the money goes there, you know, and we get royalties from there, from the one. Because this new media, I'm not really familiar.
Okay, so if your song goes on TikTok now, do you get paid for it?
I think it goes to the royalties. Yeah, I think
they get the royalties.
Goes to the royalties, MBCP, right? Composers Association.
Right. So now with what we've seen, and also with, I think both of you all were there the other day when the minister, YB Fahmi, had a town hall with musicians, and you heard people from all over the industry. You heard music teachers, people doing scoring for movies. Everyone was there. Yeah.
Musician.
Now with what has said, I mean, he could only listen, and they can now try to formulate a plan. Got it? But in the meantime, people must come up and start promoting themselves again, and they must start doing things. So how can collaboration and networking among Malaysian artists and musicians and the industry professionals help to overcome some of the challenges? What can we do now? So, okay, you're having a festival in November, right?
In December.
What else should be done? So with the festival, you collaborate with other blues musicians. What else can be done? Like from a record label perspective, what do your artists or people under your label do? So what are you doing for them to promote them this year? This year is the big year for us to keep promoting. What are you doing now?
I think keep coming up with content is one of it. And one good thing about digital platform, right? I mean, I would like to reiterate over here. I mean, for an artist like Abang Ito, for example, there's a lot of old repertoire being introduced to the younger generation as well. I mean, we have seen some of the content from the older contents, right? That actually went viral. As well. So not only necessarily the new content, but when it comes to the industry and the talent obviously need to continue to come up with content. You cannot stop because that is, I mean, we are like a footballer. So for example, if you're playing football, we need to keep playing.
Right.
So if we hang our boots, then that's it. So without content, it's like we already hang our boots.
Right.
So we have to continue churning out the content, and then I mean, with the ministry is now opening up to, I mean, more open to help the industry and everyone involved in the music industry. I think that can be one avenue or one platform for them to further grow. So we must take that opportunity.
Right. But I guess we can keep going back to the ministry and the musicians and say policies are not enough. But I think at the end of the day, it's people like me, people who consume music. We have to be aware that it is someone else's chari makan, and we really need to think like that. So for people booking bands, booking singers, wanting to have annual dinners, wanting to do weddings, what would be your advice to them? Like a lot of people want to book, but they want cheap. Okay, they want Ito to come and sing, but I want it cheap. So how do we start respecting people in the music industry and paying them what's meant to be paid? What do people need to know about this? Event organizers, me, those of us, all of us.
I think that they need a policy. When I see this kind of thing, right, we need a policy and talent actually registered under the body, for example. And then for event organizer that want, or TV station or anybody that want to engage the artist, then they will have to follow the guideline of the policy in terms of the payment terms, and maybe sound system as well. Because to the point, I mean, we have experienced many events that you went and then the sound system is actually cheapo. For example, they are using a PA system, but they get an artist to go there and sing.
Right.
So PA system and a singing, a performance system is totally two different things.
So some people get the karaoke system and get Abang Ito to sing on the karaoke system. So these are little things that we need to learn. If you're going to get a well-known singer to come, what kind of sound system you're using? Just a speaker and two mics is not going to cut it. So it's little things like that that will make a difference. And also, this is my 2 cents worth. Of course, I'm hosting the show, but I think if you're going to ask someone to do a show for you, you cannot say you don't have a budget, because you already thought of doing the show. You must think of having a budget. Never start with our budget is very low, because that's where we start undercutting each other within the industry. Now, before we go, we've got about 6 minutes left. What would be your advice to musicians, to everyone in the music industry who's now starting to come up? Because Fahmi said, hey, look, let's talk and let's move forward. What would be your advice to everyone, the minister included?
When the town hall meeting that day, you can see that there are a lot of grants. Government giving grants to for the artists, going international on the marketing and the local. I think this is one good initiative by the government, and appreciate it. We appreciate it. And for new coming artists, what they should do is they should do their best, practice a lot, and it's very difficult here. When talk about becoming artists, some people they are they are natural, you know. But now I can see that the artists come up from a competition, you know.
Competition,
A lot
social
of
media.
competition. There's not much really talent, you know, like talent scouting and all these things.
Right.
I think we need talent scouting.
Right,
It's very
and
important.
that's something you guys used to do back in the day.
Real,
Nowadays,
Then
we get
got-
CDs, we get cassette, and then we listen to it.
Give
But
me the demo,
nowadays
they
it's
listen to
totally
the demo,
different.
and then we will see what we want to do
Yes,
with you. Those
yeah,
things
yeah,
are no more here.
Yeah.
Now, what would you like to say in closing?
I mean, first of all, of course, to YB Fahmi, the other day I think he's very brave to have a town hall with the industry, and very noble of him to do that.
Yeah.
But obviously, not everything can be implemented overnight. But coming from the industry, we would like to see some progression. Maybe the little things that can you move a little pieces by pieces. The little thing can move. And to the talent and the musicians out there is that. We have to continue to create. Reason being, whether you are big or small talent, just continue to create. I think don't forget where you come from. I mean, when you become big. Reason being why I'm saying that is because your time on stage is actually very short. Throughout your lifetime, I would say it's less than 3 months of your time on stage. If you are lucky, if you become big. I mean, every time when you perform, you get out on stage, it's like 2 songs, 5 songs, you know, that is only like half an hour.
It's not a concert.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, even if you do concert of 1 hour, 1.5 hours, right? How many concert that you can do to fulfill that 3 months of your lifetime? Because you still need to sleep, you need to eat, the time that you spend. So the time that you actually be out there, to showcase your talent, to engage with your to your fans, and showing your talent is actually very, very short. So maximize your time and continue to create.
Right. Abang Ito, of course, once again, I have to say this, I'm saying this everywhere. Blues Gang celebrates their 50th anniversary this year. Something will be happening in June. But what's your advice to everyone?
Well, my advice is everybody must go for local music. You know, that's very important too. You know, now it seems that a lot of our people, they are going for
K-pop.
But please
support local music.
Give local music a chance.
Right. Do you think we'll ever reach that stage where we can become big internationally? Do you think there will be something that pushes us there?
I think we have a good talent. I think it's the matter of time. I mean, Sam has. I've done it before. I mean, Sam is there right now. Example. I would like to give a shout out to Yuna, for example. I mean, she's there right now, and the talents are ready for exports. I think we have a couple. I mean, young groups like Bang Face, Pop Shavit, Joe Flizzo. Even. We have that talent. I think right now we need a little bit of luck and support. So I think maybe in the sense that one way that the ministry could help is that or label, especially major, that keep looking out for international music festival and bring the local talents there to showcase our talent and exchange for the other countries to know about us. So they need this exposure.
Right. So I think to sum this up, I think it's best that we stop politicking and move back to music. You know, people need to start enjoying music a little bit more and stop worrying about your feed on social media as to who's doing what in the world of politics. With that, Abang Ito, thank you very much. It was a pleasure and honor having you. Jeremy, seriously, thank you so much for doing this. We'll be having more of these discussions as we move on. We hope to do this every month right here on The Nation to focus a little bit on the industry that doesn't have a home, music. I'm Gerard Ratnam signing out. You have a great day and thank you very much for staying with us on Bernama TV. Stay updated with us on Bernama TV. You can also go to bernama.com. Take care. Bye-bye.